They're suing me for something I didn't do. It's just the most bullshit thing. And I literally had to pay them a lot of fucking money.
Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis canceled.
They just decided to pull the plug.
In breaking news, Jake Paul is now facing a lawsuit from Gervonta Tank Davis. The legal action comes after Paul canceled their scheduled fight, and it's turning into more than just a boxing story. This situation touches on pride, money, and reputations, all unraveling right before fans' eyes. What was once billed as the dream matchup of the year has quickly turned into one of the most messy and humiliating sagas in recent boxing history.
So that fight that was supposed to go down with Jake Paul and Gervonta Tank Davis in Miami on November 14th is not happening. It has been canceled officially.
A few months ago, anticipation was at an all-time high. Jake Paul, the outspoken YouTuber turned boxer known for shaking up the sport, was set to face Gervonta Davis, one of the hardest hitters in boxing today. With Netflix on board and millions of dollars on the line, fans were gearing up for a matchup that promised to blur the line between pure sport and high-octane entertainment, where hype and chaos were guaranteed.
Because you have someone that we come from two different sides, of the world. We still on the same path to get the same thing.
Everything came crashing down. Promotional materials were ready, cameras were on set, contracts had been finalized. And just like that, the fight was canceled. It disappeared almost overnight. Jake Paul went online to share the news, framing the cancellation as a bold and decisive move on his part.
One of the most feared punchers in the sport of boxing. He's got a 93% knockout percentage. That's one of the best among current world champions.
Jake didn't hold back, labeling Gervonta Davis with harsh words, accusing him of misconduct, and claiming that Netflix had withdrawn its support for the fight. He explained that his company stands for supporting women, and that, in his view, he couldn't in good conscience provide Davis with a platform. Every part of his announcement, the timing, the presentation, the dramatic delivery, was clearly designed to cast Jake as the moral victor walking away from wrongdoing. And for a brief moment, that narrative seemed to stick.
Gervonta Tank Davis team fights back. After Jake Paul canceled the fight, went on a tirade.
But the praise was short-lived. The initial cheers quickly turned into murmurs that only grew louder with time. At first, the criticism came from those familiar with the promotion. Then it escalated as Tank Davis's team spoke out, and soon experienced boxing insiders, who've seen similar PR moves countless times, were weighing in as well.
I never let myself go there. I'm a fierce competitor.
Tank's team is now fighting back, and they're stating that Netflix did not, in fact, cancel the bout.
The story Jake Paul had carefully constructed began to unravel. Netflix hadn't pulled out at all. According to Gervonta Davis's coach, Kenny Ellis, the fight was still scheduled. Jake got scared. Ellis stated, short, clear, and devastating. With just one sentence, the whole image of Jake as a principled hero fell apart. The carefully built narrative of courage and integrity crumbled. What was presented as morality was, in reality, fear disguised as virtue.
He has made a significant impact on the sport of boxing. He has certainly brought new eyes to the sport. He's done so much in uplifting women's boxing.
Then rumors about weight started circulating. The fight contract required a limit of 195 pounds, but insiders suggested Jake was nowhere near it, sluggish, drained, and clearly out of shape. The brash persona he had built his brand on suddenly seemed fragile and exposed at the same time. Tank Davis was sharpening his edge, becoming faster, leaner, and more dangerous with each passing day. As fight night drew closer, it became clear to anyone watching closely. Jake Paul might be heading straight into serious trouble. Coach Kenny Ellis didn't sugarcoat it. Netflix hadn't canceled the fight. Jake had. He backed out because he was afraid. Harsh, simple, and undeniable.
They called Gervonta Davis the Tank for a reason. He only needs one shot to end the entire night.
Stop. Davis, big straight left. Down goes boy.
Fans started raising questions they hadn't dared ask before. If Jake's cancellation was truly about principles, Why had he previously faced Mike Tyson, who served time in prison? Why fight Mike Perry, who had multiple domestic abuse allegations? And why was Gervonta Davis suddenly treated as the moral boundary, the one opponent he refused to face? The inconsistency didn't go unnoticed.
Jake fought a guy who was his age and was also considered a boxer, and he lost.
It just pisses me the fuck off. And then
You're good. Take a break. Take a break.
Suddenly, Jake's claims of moral high ground began to unravel. What once seemed like bravery now looked more like a cover for fear. Every tweet, Instagram post, and public statement meant to justify his decision was revealed for what it really was: damage control. Fans started piecing it together. The speeches about supporting women, the carefully crafted outrage, the perfectly timed exit. All of it appeared less like principle and more like a strategy to save face. Fear, not morality, had driven the narrative. As Kenny Ellis' blunt statement sank in, the truth became clear. Jake Paul wasn't walking away on moral grounds. He was avoiding a fight he knew he couldn't handle. And finally, the world could see what was really happening behind the curtain.
Jake Paul took that and ran with it and then used it as a catalyst to stain Tank's name but not have to fight him.
By this stage, Jake's reputation was on the line. He wasn't just fighting former athletes or viral sensations. He was facing a legitimate threat, a world-class knockout artist who wasn't in it for clicks or online hype. The PR spin briefly worked. Jake appeared fearless, standing up for women, taking a principled stand. For a short time, it convinced the public. But now, that narrative is starting to backfire.
I believe that he was making the money he says he's making. Showtime Boxing wouldn't have gone out of business, and Showtime would have made sure they kept paying.
Gervonta Davis isn't backing down. He's filed a lawsuit against Jake Paul for defamation and breach of contract, arguing that Jake's false claims have caused serious damage to his reputation and finances. According to the legal filing, Jake's so-called moral stand wasn't a mistake or misunderstanding. It was intentional. If Team Davis can show that Netflix never pulled out of the fight, Jake could be facing claims worth millions.
What else to say? I didn't want to give this woman abuser a platform to grow his fans and to grow his bank account. My company champions women. I'm so sorry to everyone involved, mostly to the undercard fighters, to my team at MVP, and to my team who worked so hard.
Coach Kenny Ellis didn't hold back. He made it clear that Jake wasn't standing up for women. He was protecting his own record. Harsh, but bluntly true. Ellis went further, describing Jake's speeches about supporting women as a smokescreen, a PR move disguised as morality. Old interviews and screenshots seemed to back this up, painting a picture of a fighter who was panicked, out of his depth, and desperately trying to find a way out.
Ring Magazine. Jake Paul admits he's scared and losing sleep over a Gervonta Davis fight.
Then came the Netflix twist. Online sleuths noticed a major inconsistency. Netflix never officially confirmed that the fight was canceled. There was no press release, no public statement, and their logos remained on promotional material even days after Jake's announcement. If Netflix had truly withdrawn support, wouldn't their branding have been removed immediately? Their silence spoke louder than words. Tank Davis's team seized the opportunity. Netflix hadn't canceled the fight. Jake had. The timeline made it clear. Jake announced the cancellation before any official confirmation, effectively speaking on behalf of the company. Netflix had stayed put, but Jake used their name as a shield.
Jake Paul, the contracted weight is 195 pounds. I bet if he were to get on a scale today that he's nowhere near the fight weight. Is so many games being played.
At the core of the lawsuit is this. Jake Paul didn't just cancel the fight. He publicly defamed Gervonta Davis. By claiming moral superiority and suggesting that Netflix had pulled out, he created serious professional and financial consequences. The fight purse, sponsorship agreements, and promotional rights were all affected. Tank Davis's legal team argues that Jake essentially sabotaged an entire business operation to protect his image and avoid taking responsibility. Behind the scenes, Jake's team was scrambling. But this isn't a social media dispute that can be erased with a click. This is a courtroom where facts carry weight and evidence matters more than followers or online hype.
pull the fight, so don't blame Gervonta Davis accusations. Jake Paul has a far worse track record. Jake Paul backed out.
Hypocrisy has become the central issue. Jake's claims of moral high ground are falling apart. He said he wouldn't give a platform to fighters with troubling pasts, yet he previously faced Mike Tyson, Mike Perry, and others with controversial histories. The timing of his cancellation raised eyebrows. According to Tank Davis's team, he knew about our guy's past when he signed the contract. Why act surprised now? They have a point. Jake wasn't caught off guard. He was trapped and looking for a reason to step away.
It was Jake Paul who found a scapegoat kind of and an exit strategy and got to move it.
Jake Paul, a man who built his career on chaos, self-promotion, and spectacle, suddenly positioned himself as the moral authority when the stakes got real. He has long profited from hype, turning fights into pay-per-view events and insults into revenue. Yet when it came to facing Gervonta Davis, a legitimate world-class knockout artist, he framed his withdrawal as an act of moral superiority. It's a classic PR move. If you can't win, change the narrative. That's exactly what happened. Fear was dressed up as principle, and retreat was spun into a moral crusade. What was portrayed as courage was really a calculated escape, and calculated exits under scrutiny rarely come across as heroic.
He's paying the beater.
Oh shit, you're right.
Boxing analyst ego cut through the noise with blunt honesty. If the sport disqualified everyone with a criminal record, there would be almost no fighters left. Boxing isn't about saints, it's about resilience. Legends like Mike Tyson, Julio Cesar Chavez, Andre Ward, and Floyd Mayweather didn't rise because of moral perfection. They rose through chaos, poverty, and struggle. The ring allows for mistakes, miscalculations, and moral gray areas. But the courtroom does not.
Also, I was thinking too, maybe Tank isn't used to being the B side of a fight.
B-side. So everybody's working around his schedule, and now
yeah, when you the A side, you get to dictate things. You pick who you want. Blah blah blah. Maybe he's not used to being the B side.
Moral righteousness felt completely out of place. Trying to prioritize virtue over violence came across as theatrical in a sport defined by grit, blood, and unfiltered reality. Fans noticed it. Fellow fighters noticed it. Anyone paying attention could see right through it.
Also, I was thinking too, maybe Tank isn't used to being the B side of a fight.
B-side. So everybody's working around his schedule, and now
yeah, when you the A side, you get to dictate things. You pick who you want. Blah blah blah. Maybe he's not used to being the B side.
Jake Paul thrives in front of cameras, but the corner tells a different story. True fighters confront challenges directly. They don't lecture about contracts or craft staged moral exits. They step into the ring and fight. Now, Jake Paul is facing an opponent who doesn't respond to social media personas. No online bravado can protect him from real accountability.
That's the thing. Is Jake, it's consensual. Two consensual parties,
Well,
two
you didn't
women.
say that word.
No, I'm saying it's consensual. I'm saying these two women
So
came
he paid
together.
women to beat on each other.
Exactly.
Every brand that once partnered with Jake Paul is now weighing the risks of association. The image of the moral hero is gone. The aura of the fearless maverick is gone. While Jake may have avoided punches in the ring, there's no ring here, no referee, no cheering crowd, only lawyers, contracts, evidence, and the unflinching glare of reality that if the court rules in Tank Davis's favor, the financial repercussions could reach millions. But even more damaging is the reputational blow. The social media persona of unstoppable bravado holds no power under oath. The story of courage crumbles when confronted with proof of fear and deception. The most pressing question isn't whether Jake lied, it's why. Was this ever about morals, or was it driven by fear? Fear of being exposed, fear of losing, fear of facing a legitimate fighter who could, with a single clean punch, shatter the carefully crafted image he spent years building.